All right, everybody, we're going to get started. Hello, everybody. We can quiet down and get started. All right, it's my pleasure today to introduce our last speaker today, our keynote speaker, Dr. Paul J. Fields. Dr. Fields is a senior partner at Breakthrough Consulting Group in Provo, Utah. He earned his bachelor's in mechanical engineering and his MBA at Brigham Young University and his doctorate at Penn State. He's affiliated with the American Society for Quality and the Project Management Institute. He has experience consulting and training in 40 different countries. His expertise in total quality management, continuous process improvement, reliability and failure analysis, and system evaluation has been put to use on projects improving nuclear power plant equipment, F-18 Hornet jet turbines, Boeing 747 wing structures, Apache helicopters, and liquid natural gas storage tanks, as well as integrated health systems, industrial or commercial food service processes, and higher education. In addition to his 12 years of industry experience, he has 18 years experience teaching in an academic setting at James Madison University, the U.S. Naval Postgraduate School, and he recently retired from Brigham Young University. We're excited to have him here to talk to us about building a culture of operational excellence with Lean Six Sigma certification. So without any further wait, introduce Dr. Paul Fields.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chris. How are you today? Ladies and gentlemen, help me out just a little bit if you would kindly. Could everybody stand up and get a little room around you a little bit of space. There's lots of room down here closer, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, now if you do this, please follow me. Put out your hands like this, and go like this. And do that again, and just a little bit faster. Faster. Yeah. That's what I like. You see, I prefer the standing ovation at the beginning rather than waiting all the way to the end. Hasn't it been a glorious day to be in Logan, Utah today? And the conference has been great, super speakers. I commend you for staying here till the end. It's my honor and privilege to spend an hour with you today, and I'm glad you're here so we could spend it together. Operational excellence. How do you get there? How do you build a culture of operational excellence? Today, as Chris said, I'm representing ASQ, which used to stand for the American Society for Quality, but we just call it ASQ right now. I happen to be the current chair in of the Salt Lake chapter of ASQ, and so that's my affiliation for today. ASQ is a worldwide organization. It has affiliates in 150 countries around the world, and growing every day. is recognized as being the leader in thought, in quality, and in quality management, and providing people with the tools through training and certification to be able to use those tools. There are 18 ASQ certifications. These are professional development certifications. They aren't just little certificates that you receive for, attendance someplace. You actually have to put in some time and effort to get these certifications, ranging anywhere from 20 hours of training to over 60 hours of training, plus doing projects, real projects that make an improvement in an organization. The most famous of the certifications are the belt certifications, Six Sigma Black Belt, Six Sigma Green Belt certifications, for example, as well as the Lean certifications. Everybody talks about Lean Six Sigma. We've heard it numerous times today. And the owners of those methodologies are the American Society for Quality, ASQ, for Six Sigma. And for Lean, it's the Society for Manufacturing Engineers, SME, who's a partner with ASQ in certifications. It all started back in about 1968. The very first certification was as a quality engineer, and the most recent one, just added this past year, is a Six Sigma Yellow Belt. But there's quite an array there, something that can help anybody in any discipline to be better at what they do. The benefits of being affiliated with ASQ as a single member, number one, of course, is to be able to develop new skills and to upgrade one's skills to a new level. It is a very distinct source of professional and personal pride to get a certificate, to be recognized by one's peers in a professional discipline, but also to be better at what you do. We all take great pride. In fact, we identify ourselves by what we do. Hi, I'm Paul Fields. I'm a quality management trainer. Now, I'm a whole lot of other things too, but isn't it interesting how we introduce ourselves that way? By what we do professionally. And the time and effort that it takes to get those certifications will take somebody to a higher level in their career. As a matter of fact, this is for people who are practicing in a profession today, but also even for students. There are certifications that they can receive and paths that they can start off with, beginning in their career and throughout their career. We had a couple of student Six Sigma Black Belts not too long ago who received their certifications, went out on the job market looking around. A couple of them reported back that not only did they get a job because of their certification, but they got a promotion in their first job because of their certification. Not later on, but they were hired in at a higher level than they would have without that certification. It means a lot in career advancement. For an organization to have certified people, well, that's a clear and distinct investment in the company's future. They'll become better, they'll grow faster, they'll serve the customers better with certified professionals. The biggest and most important thing is that it provides a knowledge base for people to use and to practice in their professions, starting from the very first day of their journey through certification. Well, I have a blue blazer that I like to wear a lot. It's my favorite coat to wear. I'm not wearing it today because it's at the cleaners. I took it over to the dry cleaners, and when I did that, it reminded me of an event a couple of years ago. I had taken my blue blazer into the cleaners, and I got it back, and when I got it back, the third button on the left-hand sleeve was missing. Now, I don't know if you've ever had this experience or not, but you can't just replace one button if you lose one, because you can never find a matching button. What you have to do is get a whole new set of buttons. Every button on the coat has to be replaced. It's not just a little thing, Chris. Well, I went through that process because I liked the coat. And after a while, it needed cleaning again, so I took it back into the cleaners. And I got it back, and the third button on the left-hand sleeve was missing. I had to go through that process all over again. And then it was dirty, and I had to take it back to the cleaners. Now, I always take it to the same cleaners because they are located close to where I live. You probably choose your cleaners the same way. But this time, the third time when I took it in, I said, I just wanted to point out to you something interesting to me. I wasn't irate. I wasn't angry at all. I wasn't shouting. But I said, the curious thing was, the last 2 times I brought my coat in, and this is my favorite place to bring my dry cleaning, third button on the left-hand side was missing. And what are the chances of that happening twice in a row? Can't be just a random event. There must be something systematic going on here. And I thought you would like to know. And the lady looked at me and she said, we don't do that. And I didn't know exactly how to respond to that. I mean, you don't do what? Take off buttons? And I said, no, it really did. It really happened. I'm not making this up. And it's so curious to me that I thought perhaps you would like to know. And she said, here's your ticket. You can get your coat on Wednesday. She wasn't interested at all, which was particularly interesting to me because I thought, I'll bet you when I get my coat back, third button on the left-hand sleeve is going to be missing. You know what? It was. No, I haven't taken my coat back there since. 3 strikes, you're out. But to me, you see, that's an indication of a disinterest in quality, a disinterest in serving customers. Now, we could probably spend all day talking about this because I've got lots of stories about quality, and I'll bet you do too. But here's the typical responses from providers to a quality problem. First thing they say is they deny it. There's no problem here. That's not a problem. The second thing is they project. They project it back to the customer and say, well, it's customer's fault because the customer just is asking too much of us. It isn't fair what the customer is asking of us. Or they start making excuses, what I call the loser's limp. They start saying, oh, so-and-so was absent on that day. Or, I was sick when that happened and I just wasn't, there's some reason for it to happen beyond my control. Or they become indignant. How dare you? How dare you accuse us of making a mistake? We don't do that. Or to evade, run away and hide. Here's your ticket, go away. But ladies and gentlemen, in that scenario, an organization cannot learn, cannot improve, and cannot grow. In fact, that's a simple prescription for organizational death. Those organizations are in the process of slowly committing suicide. On the other hand, let me share with you what I call the 5 A's of success. Because if you can build a culture to prevent defects from happening, not to fix them, but to prevent them from happening, and everything can be prevented. First is to accept. Whenever there's a problem, say, I'm responsible. The last thing that the customer ever wants to hear is, it's not my job. Yeah, it is. You work here. It's your job. I am responsible. And yes, that is a problem. If it's a problem in the eyes of the customer, it's a problem. And then say, let's fix it. Now, the other thing you don't ever want to say is, well, what you have to do is to go over there and talk to that guy over there. And no, what you say is, let's fix it. And here is what I will do. And then, once we have fixed it, let's learn from it and prevent it from ever happening again. Those are the 5 A's of success. Accept, acknowledge, act, assess, and avert. And ladies and gentlemen, those 5 A's right there, if you can master those, you can run any organization. Doesn't matter what kind of organization it is. Doesn't matter. You can run, you name it, you can run it. Doesn't have to be a company. It could be your family. Any organization. 5 A's of success. What is an organization? May I propose to you this definition? It's a group of people with interdependent skills interacting to achieve a common goal. People, skills, and a goal. That's what makes up an organization. And that common goal must be one thing and one thing only, and that's to serve customers. So what do customers want? The very first thing customers want is high quality. And high quality, here's a definition for you that I think is the most useful definition. 0 variation in the product or service performance from the customer's expectations this time and every time. 0 variation in the product performance from the customer's expectations this time and every time. Second is rapid response. And rapid response means your speed in providing. After the customer says, I want it, how long does it take you to provide it? Rapid response. Let's talk about healthcare, for example. What's high quality healthcare? I can assess it very easily. First thing is, do I feel better? Yes or no? And the second question is, how long did it take? Oh, it took 2 weeks, and that's the normal amount of time. Oh, that's good. How about, can you do it faster than that? How about take out a magic wand and go, bing, you're better? Yeah, that would be high quality and rapid response. And low cost. Low cost means in 2 dimensions, the price measured in money and the price measured in time. Because when you go out there and you buy something and you read on the box and it says, some assembly required, what does that mean? The price just went up because it's going to take you some time. The other one that is a red flag to me of higher cost is batteries not included. Oh, it means I got to get back in the car, right? Go drive over there and get another. Oh boy, it takes me some time to do that. I wonder how you can reduce the cost. The formula is simple. And here is a change of paradigm for you, ladies and gentlemen. You reduce the cost by increasing the quality and doing it faster. It's those 2 at the top that gives you the 1 on the bottom. The accountants miss that entirely. They start at the bottom and try to work up, and guess what? It doesn't work. The paradigm is entirely wrong. Accounting, ladies and gentlemen, is really good. It's good for one thing, paying your taxes. It's not good for running your organization because it gives you the wrong perspective on serving customers. It's your high quality, rapid response, and low cost that constitutes the organization's reputation. So how do you achieve these three things? Well, Six Sigma, what we call Six Sigma is what gives us quality, lean, rapid response, and combining them together, that's where we get low cost. Six Sigma, which means only making a defect about 1 or 2 times every billion opportunities to make a defect. It comes from statistics where they measure standard deviations. That's called sigma. And if you're 6 standard deviations away, you'll only be there 1 or 2 times per billion. Lean gives rapid response. Lean is about doing things and doing it fast. And if you can do the right stuff and do it fast, costs go down because costs are like dust. They settle on anything sitting around. You want to keep it moving and keep it moving fast so it doesn't accumulate costs. Six Sigma simply means then being the very best. Being world class means no one is better at those 3 things than you are. Jack Welch, you remember Jack Welch, right? He hasn't been in the news lately. He's getting kind of old, but he was the CEO of General Electric for 20 years. Spent his entire career at GE. And during that time, he created the most valuable organization in the entire world at that point in time. He had created in that organization more value than anyone had ever created in the history of the world. That was what he accomplished. And he said this, variation is evil. Now see, I like sentences that are 3 words long. I can remember those. I can communicate that very effectively to people. Variation is evil. Find it, get rid of it. There's the formula. Where's the variation from the customer's expectation? Get rid of that. That gives you quality. He also said this, if you're not fast, you're dead. Maybe not dead yet, but dead soon. We cannot stand still because our rivals are not. They are coming after us. They are coming after our customers every single day. We need to be fast. So, Six Sigma, continually improving the process, driving out variation. Lean is focusing on getting rid of the waste. Now, sometimes, we misunderstand that and think it's, we're cutting costs. Now, what we're doing is we're getting things out of the way so we can run fast. When I was in high school, and that was a long time ago, I ran track. And I ran the sprints. And the coach wanted me to run the hurdles. And I tried that. And I said, this is the stupidest thing I can think of. I want to run as fast as I can with all this stuff in the way. Get it out of the way. Then I can run fast. I didn't stay with the hurdles. But I learned what lean was all about. When we say get rid of the waste, that's what we're talking about, the hurdles, so that you can get to where you need to be in servicing customers really fast. The result is, as we say here, faster creation of value for the customer. It looks something like this. You see, we have lean, waste removal, makes us faster. Quality, Six Sigma, reduce the variation. That's a measure of our performance, and that brings down the cost. We're always looking, constantly looking for adding value. Every single day. If you're the head of any organization or responsible for any part of any organization, you should wake up in the morning and say, how can I create more value for my current customers today? And after you answer that question, then the next question is, how can I create value for more customers? If you focus on those two strategic questions every single day, you'll be successful. If you don't, someone else will. If you're not asking and answering those questions, the guy next door is, and he's going to take your customers. And he's going to take the other customers that you could have because you were too busy asking the wrong questions and doing the wrong things. So, Lean Six Sigma helps us create value. Lean, we remove waste, get the hurdles out of the way, we reduce the time flow, and that increases our efficiency. With Six Sigma, we reduce variation. We find the root causes of problems. We get rid of them so that they can't happen again. So we're consistent in what we're doing. We're predictable in what is going to happen. And if you're predictable, guess what? Your customers will believe you when you tell them you'll provide a good or service. But once we have it in place, we need to control that. That brings down risk. Risk for us, but more importantly, risk for our customers. Then we are both efficient and effective at what we're doing. So Lean gives us speed. Six Sigma gives us accuracy. The result is better delivery times, better quality, more consistent, predictable products, satisfied customers, but also satisfied employees, because people like doing a good job. And if you're helping them do whatever they do better, they will like doing it, and they'll like you too. They'll stay with you. The one thing that's most interesting to me is the organizations, if we look at this overall, that are the most successful are those that have the highest average tenure of their employees. The people who are parts of that organization, who are contributing to the work of that organization, the longer they're there, the more successful companies tend to be. So a culture of excellence, it's created by people who have made a commitment to being nothing less than world class. It is never okay to be good enough. We're never good enough. What was good enough yesterday isn't good enough today, and it certainly won't be good enough tomorrow. We've got to find a way to do it better. Well, it's the people who make that happen. And it takes world-class people to have a world-class organization. But from where we are today to where we want to be, nothing's going to change in that organization until we change the people, because organization, remember our definition, is just people. It's not a thing. It's people with interdependent skills working together to achieve a common goal, better service to the customers. How do you change a culture? Well, you train people to work constantly on high-impact improvement projects that give immediate results with visible changes and small, frequent wins. It's those groups that have a win every day, that change. If you say, well, we're going to have this big change, we're going to improve 5 years from now, never happens. You never get there. The key to success is small, frequent wins. It sure sounds like flying to the moon, you know. It's easy to say, hard to do. And people are going to say, yeah, well, it's not maybe where no man has gone before, but I haven't been there anyway. So what we have to do is to give people a new set of skills to use the tools for quality management. And training to become a certified quality professional is one way, and a very good way, a proven way of providing those skills. Certification training provides several things to an organization. One, a common knowledge base. You see, if you don't do that, then everybody comes from wherever they came from, and it was a different place, so they have a different background, they have different knowledge, they have a different value system. We can give everybody a common value system, the things that we value in this organization, and very importantly, a common language. They're talking the same language, and that is what we call culture. Knowledge, values to make decisions, and a language to communicate it. Lean Six Sigma training, we take people, we give them a purpose, generate passion. We want to make our products better. We need to make the process better, which means we need to make the people better. It comes back upstream. Better products come from better processes, which come from better people. That's organizational excellence. Makes happy customers, which leads to success. People improve processes. Processes give better products. Operational excellence. Everyone will agree when they see it. And those happy customers give success. You see, you can write this equation down another way, ladies and gentlemen. Write it down this way. Quality builds trust. Trust builds loyalty amongst the employees and the customers. Repeat customers come from loyalty, and repeat customers bring success. If we only serve them once, we're probably going to fail. People with purpose and a passion go around and round in Six Sigma, constantly finding ways to keep customers satisfied. The keys to success are kind of simple. Let me run through a list for you. First of all, we need to build teams, interdisciplinary teams that can work together on those quality improvement projects. Using a recognized, established body of knowledge where the tools and techniques are real, specific to a problem, and applied to a problem. Things that are practice, not theory. When I was a professor at the university, I'll bet you guys asked this question too. I was probably asked 1,000 times if I was ever asked once, what is this stuff good for? Do people really do it this way? Well, the great thing about professional certification training is, yeah, this is the way people really do it. Well, I'm not talking about anybody. I'm talking about successful people. People who have been successful really do it this way. And these are the tools that you can use now to do it. And we provide you with a structure in which to do it. It's called DMAIC, which stands for Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, Control, and then start the process all over again. The roadmap looks like this. First, define the problem, set the objectives. Then, what do we need to improve? And how can we measure this? Ladies and gentlemen, it's very simple. If you're not measuring it, you're not managing it. It's managing you. And as soon as you start measuring something, you know what happens? People say, oh, well, that must be the important stuff, so they start paying attention. And all you have to do, here's an amazing thing about it, is start measuring it, and it automatically improves. Because people will start saying, oh, okay, now I know what I'm supposed to be paying attention to. Just measure it. It'll start improving. But unless you have measurements, you don't have any information within which to make decisions about improvement. Just like my poor dry cleaning lady. Data walked in the door. She threw it in the trash. Not making any measurements. I was measuring. You see, and that's what the customers are always doing. The customers are constantly measuring. And if you're not measuring it, the customers have more information about your performance than you do. Who's going to make the right decisions when it's time to make a decision? You or the customer? Analyze the process. Look for those things that are bringing about the behaviors that you don't like and the things that will bring the behaviors that you do like. Improve. Drive out variation. Do it faster. And then solidify it. Make sure that it continues. DMAIC. Define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. We have a whole toolkit in each one of these areas. Through professional certification, you can learn how to do all of these. You don't learn how to do them when you went to college. We also have a structure within Lean as well. We call it the 8 ways. You're probably familiar with them, but I like to put them in this order because it forms a little acronym. DOWNTIME, downtime. Those wastes are defects, D, overproduction, O, waiting, W, non-utilized talent. That's the worst one right there. We stick it in the middle so that our acronym works. T is transportation. Inventory is I. Motion means the motions of people is M. And last of all, extra processing. Yeah, it's that old thing. There's always enough time to fix it later, but not enough time to do it right the first time. That's overproduction, extra processing. So Lean plus Six Sigma. Lean focuses on identifying and eliminating waste. Six Sigma, identify and eliminate that variation. And they give continuous improvement. The people are we need to continually improve the people so that we can continually improve the organization. Someone says that within 5 years, half of your skills today will be obsolete. That's probably increasing. I probably don't use 1% of what I learned 40 years ago in college. I probably don't. I'm not being facetious. Everything that I do today, I've learned in the last few years. But the great thing about professional certification is it motivates people to get certified and to stay certified so that they keep their skills up to date. They don't become obsolete. And they can add new skills by getting an additional certification. In fact, that pantheon of ASQ certifications forms a complete, ready-made, off-the-shelf professional development program for any organization because they all link together. Now, there isn't a prerequisite to go from one to the next to the next to the next, but they do mutually support each other. And they support the various disciplines, the technical side on the left-hand side and leadership on the right-hand side. Forms a career track that people can follow from their very first job till their very last job within the organization. That Lean Six Sigma structure, if we were to break it down, looks as simple as this. The yellow belts at the bottom, green belts next, black belts, and then master black belts. What do? Well, the master black belts are the ones who train and provide consulting support to the black belts. The black belts lead quality improvement teams. Green belts are qualified to serve on those teams, and yellow belts, those are the folks who need to know. They may or may not be on a quality improvement team, but they need to know what quality is all about. So how many people in an organization should you have? Well, here is just one little breakdown of that. Down at the bottom, those yellow belts, maybe 25, 50%. I like to say 100% of everybody in the organization should have that yellow belt, so we have that solid foundation all the way up. And something maybe like 10% in green belts and 1 or 2% in black belts. And for every black belt, every 10 to 20 black belts, we need one master black belt. And then the champions at the top. Who are those champions anyway? These are the senior management guys. These are the guys who say, yes, you can use resources to do this quality improvement project. And everybody else, stay away from these guys. They're my guys. They're working for me. Let them alone. That's what you need. You need protection so you can utilize those resources in the most efficient and effective way. So the Lean Six Sigma roles starts with the CEO who has the vision of what needs to be happening to better serve the customers. Project champions, the sponsors who provide the resources. The black belts lead the teams. The green belts and other team members, yellow belts and others, make it happen. Why does it work? Well, it works because those folks are trained through a mentoring process and coached every step of the way by real world experts, people who have been out there and people who have done it. See, there's a difference between education and training. Education is to learn how to think, and that's a good thing. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying here. But training is to learn how to perform a task. It's to learn how to perform a skill. You want to learn how to operate a machine. Who do you want to help you do that? Well, I bet you want the guy who knows how to operate the machine and who's done it before to help you learn how to do that. It also develops leadership skills because we're going to be effectuating change within an organization, and you can't do that from behind. You have to do that from in front. And quality motivates. Quality makes people happy. Makes people want to come to work, makes people want to do more than they've been doing before. Slogans and praise, well, that'll take you so far. But just helping people do their job better, where they can see that they are making the organization a better place and the world a better place, yeah, people get excited about that. People want to come to work and do that again. And also, you can join a local community of professionals who, like you, are dedicated to being excellent at everything that you do. So there's a support structure there. Somebody you can learn from and who can learn from you. The results are very real. It's training to do things, not to think about things. And those projects pay for themselves. They pay for the training. That's what I get really excited about. The training might cost a couple of $100 or a couple of $1,000 to complete. But those projects, we've never had a project that produced a cost avoidance savings less than $50,000. Over this past summer, we had several black belt projects that produced for their employers an annualized cost avoidance savings of over $1 million. When the CEO saw that, he said, "How many people got the training?" The answer was 4. And he says, "I want 100 people to get that training next year." Well, let's see. If 4 guys save you $1 million, how many will 100 guys save you? It's probably not a linear equation, but it doesn't matter. It's a lot of money because the savings are real and they can be measured, and the return on training investment becomes almost infinite in size. You have a big number divided by a little number, and that gets very, very big. Probably the best investment you could ever make. There's some myths about training that are out there. You've probably heard this. Our people are our most important asset. You ever hear that? Wasn't a rhetorical question. You ever hear somebody say that? Well, as an employee, how do you like being called an asset? An asset is something that you own. You can't own people. Number one. Number two is when times get tough and we need to tighten the belt, as they say, what gets cut first? Two things. Training budget's number one. Facility maintenance is number two. Because the effect of cutting those isn't seen immediately. If you cut the training budget, there's an entirely different message that gets sent. You're not our most important asset. We don't care about you being up to date in your skills. We don't care about you being the best at what you do so that we can be the best at what we do. The other myth is this one. Well, if we pay for training the people, they'll just leave. They'll just go get a better job somewhere else. Well, there's two things there. One, why don't you create better jobs here for them to do then? And number two is what we find when we study it is they don't leave. They say, hey, you've invested in me. I'm valuable to you. Hey, I've got some new skills and I can make a greater contribution here, and I like that. They tend to stay. Both of these two myths are busted. The very best investment that you can possibly make in any organization is in the people. Here's an actual quote from one of our black belt trainees. He said, I learned more in Lean Six Sigma training than I learned in 4 years of college. He might have been exaggerating a little bit. But the fact that it's the real stuff that people really do to make the world a better place is not an exaggeration. Black belt training, for example, is on par with a graduate degree. But the great news is you can get that black belt certification in 1/10 of the time at 1/10 of the cost, and it'll be 10 times. You'll be able to create 10 times the more value for you and for your organization. And you get a certificate that looks something like this. Yeah. Got a professional certification in quality management. This particular one is for those champions. Manager of Quality and Organizational Excellence. Another myth. We're already excellent. We don't have to improve. And training costs too much. Oh, really? Costs too much, does it? Well, I haven't found the organization yet that is so good that they can't improve in something. And what is the cost of death, by the way? If you fail to train and fail to get better, well, Deming said this, you don't have to improve, survival is optional. And so you might end up in a cartoon like this one. Here's Kodak going into bankruptcy, and who's standing on the sidelines there to take their customers away from them? Let's see, Fuji, Sony, Nikon, Canon, Samsung. Yeah, you don't have to improve. You don't have to serve customers better. Somebody else will. Yeah, the cost of not improving is very expensive. Some of training partners in Lean Six Sigma, Adobe, Cisco, all of these right here in Utah. GE Healthcare, Intermountain Healthcare, L3 Communications, even Vivint. Some in manufacturing, most are actually in the service industries. That's where the future is, and all of this applies in big companies and in small companies, manufacturing, service, education, you name it, it works. Lean Six Sigma training and certification brings organizational excellence so that you can, as Spock said, live long and prosper. If you'd like to talk some more about this, I'd be happy to do so. I hope you get a little bit of an idea that this is my favorite topic to talk about. There's my phone number. You can call me or text me anytime. My email address as well. That's my personal one. And at ASQ, you can reach me at asqslc@gmail.com. Yeah, give me a call. Send me a message. We can talk some more. I'll be here for the next few minutes. We can talk some more here too. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I've enjoyed talking with you today.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Paul. We got a little gift for you here.
Thank you.
Thanks for
You're very kind.
Yeah, the real gift is the beauty of Cache Valley, experiencing that. So
It is beautiful.
That's a token as well.
Thank you.
Don't forget to fill out the surveys. Us here at Partners in Business, we're committed to quality improvement as well. So please give us your feedback. Tomorrow we'll be serving breakfast again. It's between 7 and 8. And our first session will be with Jerry Solomon on bridging the gap between accounting and operations during the lean journey, and that will begin at 8 o'clock. So thanks for coming, and I guess we'll see you tomorrow.
Well done, Chris. Well
Thank
done.
you. You too.
Well, I hope it was in some way meaningful for you, Chris.
Oh yeah. I see the value of those certifications. Gotta get this one, my degree first, I guess.
One thing that